Hello Egyptology lovers, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of these wall arts that were done by Egyptians. This represents Seti I from his tomb 𝋹�𓋹�𓋹�🔂 in the Valley of the Kings, but I'm going to show you how to make one of these. First off, you're going to find yourself a board like this. This is a 𝓋�📴 on the back of a flat. It's very nice and smooth, and that's what you need because you're going to roll some paint on there to create that backwash or whitewash. Here's the back side of it so you can see what it looks like. It's being held by pine wood. And here's some more of it on the bottom. It's just a way to kind of keep it solid so it doesn't wobble around. And now we're going to show you how we're going to do this. Here's some flat white paint that you're going to use to prime it. And you lay it flat like that so you can work with it easier. You're going to roll some of that onto the paint like that. Kind of really get it thick in there so you can roll. And then you start applying and you just start rolling it on there and get a nice thickness. I usually do about 2 coats. We just go slowly back and forth, and here's it on the other side. Just roll it back and forth and get it nice and thick so it's completely white. And then you're going to let it set and dry for about 20 minutes. Put your roller back and just wait. And here it is 20 minutes later, nice and dry and white, looking very nice. And you can see it's still a little bit wet, so we're just going to wait for it to dry. Then you're going to start creating what we call the markers, the indicators for the squares. You're going to use a measuring tape, and here you see me basically penciling in the squares, dividing them, making sure they fit the right size and proportion. Here, what you're going to do is what the Egyptians did is basically snap a red line, and that's how you're going to create that famous, well-known grid like you see over here. Here's me snapping it. Snap it nice and hard. Do it a second time if you have to. And now you see the grid is complete. You could see I made a couple of errors here, just one. You see that red line kind of fainted. This happens. You're just going to correct it. All right, so here's the next step is drawing it. Like you see here, as you can see many different phases of the drawing. You're going to follow the schematic of the sample that I have in my hand, and I'm going to show that to you, which I already did before. And you're just going to follow it. You're going to take your time. You're going to draw it in. You're going to pencil all the lines. You're going to do a lot of corrections along the way. You're going to eventually learn techniques on how to draw against the wall using your pinky index, your different fingers, just to maintain the position, but you're always going to erase and correct several times. Here's the kilt here that was drawn, and it's all in a process of getting the exact proportions. To achieve the highest quality is to stick to the grid. Make sure your piece of paper is with you all the time and constantly check back and forth if your lines are correctly in their appropriate squares. Now, the number of squares vary throughout the periods, but you can always choose one that fits beneficially to you. Here's the completion of it in full detail, as you can see. Here are the libations given to the greenery, basically displayed. Now, this is an important aspect. This is an ear that I've drawn. The most important part of any art has to be the face when it comes to ancient Egyptian, the head, because if it's not done right, it basically distorts the rest of the image. So you need to get that face correct. Take your time, draw it out, erase, repeat, step back, step forward, and keep getting a good eye from a distance. So you could see here from a distance and get an idea if it's proportionally done right. You come close, you go back, you begin to eventually develop an eye for the art itself, and you start knowing how to design it correctly from the proportions. Now, you can't be always 100% accurate, but the best thing to do is to make sure that the face is priority above all. And as I said before, step back in order to get a better perspective of the entire image, and then you can move forward and back doing the corrections, and keep repeating that until you get it right. So the next step here is to apply black ink on the lines that you've already drawn. I'm using here a Sharpie, but Egyptians normally used black coal, or a mixture of charcoal with egg whites and a little bit of water, or sometimes used gum arabic. But you could see here there are 3 or a few thicknesses of lines, and this is in order to create depth in a 2-dimensional image. The best way to learn how to apply these different thicknesses to the art is simply to watch how other drawings have been done in tombs. Those are the best examples you'll ever find. You usually have a thick line, a medium, and a thin line, and that's how you create the different perspectives. Here you can see I'm working on the kilt itself. Here are the serpents on either side, and you can see this is the best way to go about it. Now, the hand is probably one of the best and most important features to draw out. It's essential in order to create that fineness in the hand, not make it too thick or bulky. I had to go over it a few times just to give it a nice look. So it's trying to get to a bit of realism in the hand when you do make it. Here it is me continuing to work the arm to finish it up, and again the proportions of the arm can be quite thick. Now here's the other hand, and you can see how a nice curve is developed. Keep that always in mind. Even when you get to the thumb as well, you can see that nice curvature in the fingers and the details in the fingernails as well. Now, the most important, as I've said before, is making sure the face is accurate. It's very, very, very important in order to create a proper looking image in its proportions. The face, for some reason, distorts a lot of the image. When you look at it, you can tell what is of good quality and what is of poor quality just by the details of the face. Here we're finishing up with the uri eye on the head, the lips and the nose. I think the nose is by far one of the most important, and the eyes have to be set in the proper location and height. But just follow the grid. You should be just fine to be able to accomplish all this. Now, the original image that was found in the tomb of Seti was incomplete. Basically, it wasn't colored in. The drawing was finished, but not the color. So I'm leaving it the way it is in order for you to see it from its original form. I'm going to obviously go ahead and show you the original, what it looks like. And he's not by himself. There you go, next to Osiris. And here is me basically standing by when it's all done. Here it is alone again. Here it is in color from the sample palette of the tomb of the different images. And back again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and start making one of your own. If you have any questions, message me. I'm happy to help you, to guide you in the future to learn how to do this art yourself. It's not a very difficult process, but it's very enjoyable.